Hi y'all. Got a little background music going on. So enjoy if you want to. If not, you ain't gotta listen to it at all. And I'm getting a little hoarse, y'all, because I feel a cold coming on because it seems like a whole lot of people in my section are starting to get sick. And like a bad sick, like the missing a couple days sick. And like that's the bad thing about being in law school is that when one gets sick, it just keeps going. Like, people are coughing, people are touching things. And I'm telling you, I keep sanitizer on me, but I've been doing bad lately with sanitizing my hands. I also have Lysol, but I've been doing bad lately with Lysoling around me. And like, I don't really like to Lysol too much in my personal area because I don't want people to be like, ooh, she thinks we're nasty. Maybe I do to an extent because you keep coughing. And I'm not trying to get what you got, okay? It's like having intercourse, having sex. Like, I don't want all your germs. Like, I don't. Like, I don't. Protect me from you. Get a cute little face mask. Something. Because I can't, like, this chest pain I'm feeling right now. Like, you know how you get that little cough and, like, your chest just starts to get... yeah. So after I finish everything that I want to do tonight, I am going straight to the medicine cabinet and getting the little medicine I have smoked from back home and taking that and drinking some tea before bed in my new mug. Because I cannot, y'all. I cannot. I have events coming up. I have a social tomorrow. I have another networking event on Monday. And y'all, I'm really excited about that one. So I'm going to tell y'all probably about that one right after. And like... I got a lot of things to do next week. I'm going to see Erica Badu next week. Like, I'm in law school still, y'all, but I have been living my best life. Like, if this is going to be my last year of, like, actually being young and adulting, I need to get this in before the summer hits and I'm, like, out here really doing stuff. But, y'all, what I wanted to talk about were interviews and a specific type of interviews because I have been getting ready for phone interviews, and you know, it's different than like your regular interview where you're sitting in front of the person. Like, they can tell if you're being sincere, they can tell if you're actually smiling or if you're excited about what you're talking about. They can tell how you really feel about it instead of you just being up on the phone faking it, because you never know. But yeah, that like makes me nervous too, because it's like, are you being sincere with me? Because the thing about internships, and like I told you before, when you are looking at these places, you also need to be evaluating them, because you don't need to be somewhere for a summer and be unhappy. You don't. Like, even if you're staying in the city you go to law school in and you can find like some type of escape, you don't need that type of pressure. Like, you need to be in a good facilitative learning environment and do your little interview too. It's good to ask questions. It means that you're involved and you're actually interested in the place that you plan to internship at, because it's like going on a date. Like I said before, it's like going on a date. If you don't ask the person you're out with questions, they're gonna think that you're not actually interested in them. So have your little questions ready and just bop, 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 bop. But anyway, so phone interviews. I'm looking at an email because I want to actually share some tips that my advisor shared with me. I used like one tip, I think, though. So it'll be useful for like if you really need it to prepare. Like, I was preparing on the last minute. But phone interviews. When you do your phone interviews, it's just like doing a regular interview. What I did to prepare for it is, first I started with researching the place I wanted to internship that I wanted to intern at more in depth. because lately I've just been like doing my applications, and I've been looking in like a general section of law because I want to do criminal defense, and like there's a ton of criminal defense programs that I've just been like, okay, yeah, you're like this specialty, you're this specialty, and you're this specialty. But then like I went back and I read about the staff that worked there, the history of the place. Then I went and like saw some articles on work they had done in the past. And I didn't know if these questions would like come up, but regardless, I wanted to see what they were doing in the community and how I would feel about actually working with them. And that's important because like you can put all your energy into these applications, but then it's like you get to the interview and it's like the people that you're talking to aren't who you thought they were. And that's not the type of feeling you want to have. But if you do have that feeling, take that as a sign. But back to these tips, because that's the most important thing I want y'all to get out of this today. So one thing that I did that my counselor did advise was to practice a little over the phone, and it's just to check your volume to see if you're loud enough. So I called my sister. I was like, can you hear me? And then we like tested like different ways I was sitting, whether I was walking around, and what really worked. And then we started having a whole different conversation, and that was great. So then another suggestion is to increase your energy level a bit while talking, so your enthusiasm is easier to sense via phone since they can't see you smiling. And like I said, that's like a big issue, because the thing about looking at public defense opportunities, from what I've been told, is that you have to actually be passionate, because you can't be dry. Because honestly, the type of work that public defense requires a lot of like energy, a lot of passion. And the way I can only express this like through talking about it and like actually like smiling about it. Like that's the thing. So I think I practiced this just a little bit, like, and not even like practicing it over the phone beforehand, but actually just as I was talking about it and as I was talking to my interviewer about their office and like what opportunities they gave, because like when he said I could possibly visit like different people and actually have a hands-on experience, like that made me really excited. I don't want to get too much in depth because I don't know how much I can say and share, but y'all, it's lit. It went away, y'all. Okay, so more tips. Just from my personal experience, so is to actually just, like I said before and so many times, just be yourself. I was honestly super nervous about my interview. It was my first phone interview, and honestly, I've only had a few interviews for things, and usually I really, 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 really get nervous about things that I'm passionate about. So, all I can say is to be yourself, be who you are. Don't come across like a know-it-all. Don't come across as you just know you have this in the bag. Like, don't do that. Just be yourself. Interact with the person. Have an actual conversation with them, because they appreciate that realness. Counselor tip number 3, though, is all the more important to use verbal transitions like first, second, blase, blase, when explaining things, since you won't be there in person to gesture. Honestly, y'all, I didn't do this because I wasn't really thinking about it. And lastly, be prepared to have less feedback that helps you know how you're doing, since you won't see the person nodding or smiling, but forge on words of encouragement. Yeah, so that means like you don't know how the person is like taking what you're saying. But those are the tips. I have reached my limits, and I wish you all well. I'll probably